And again, I think Slight, like you said, being the player to watch, he's a guy that can be aggressive with the op. He can, he can make those plays. He's somebody that's not just like a conservative op player. He's somebody that's going to get aggressive. He's going to try to be the difference maker. So I'm hoping we see that here, because I think he does have a big leg up right now in the situation against Elevate where they don't have their primary opper anymore. This will be a big, big difference. And even for them to be on the CT side, that's even more icing on the cake.
Oh, yeah. And, well, we're heading right into the action, guys. The match is now live. We're right on time, which is nice. No delays today. We've had some tech issues sometimes, but today, right on the mark. Elevate and Boss on Vertigo. Cryptic waiting there at the side hall. And Boss have quite a bit of presence towards the A side. Of course, Vertigo had a few changes recently. We've seen quite a few matches played on it so far. And that big garage, the opening 2 elevators, that big opening, which I call garage, is going to make everything different on this map, or at least it has so far. Slight gonna get the opener, and he'll get a follow-up as well. All right. Already delivering his Arcadia player to watch.
Yeah, this is a really nice start for Slight. I guess he knew that we were saying, look, he's a player to highlight, and now the USPs are just making all the connections in the world. And oh boy, it was just a slaughterhouse. And Elevate, I think what they only did 10 damage that entire round. So, ay caramba. I mean, great for Boss, a really good way to get the start off. But man, oh man, Elevate, they looked really, really passive. They looked so hesitant on what they wanted to do, and man, they got punished for it.
Yeah, indeed. That was just a slaughter in favor of Boss. Barely any damage taken either. And now they're going to have the 3 MP9s, 2 A1Ss even afforded by them. On the other side, Elevate, no bomb plant, no buy. The only thing they've purchased up here is a P250 in Peeping's hands. Other than that, and a flashbang for Snav. Other than that, they got nothing. It's only $500 invested into this round. They're going to stick together like glue. All 5 of them funneling out towards mid. Freshy's holding some util in his hands. I believe this is the incendiary. As soon as he spots someone, it's going to go down to the ground, and that will set up the crossfire more than likely, and a push from Boss. They've got control here. Slight waiting. Freshy as well, along with Micro. They're going to pinch in towards mid, and actually, whoa, Slight gets destroyed by the Glock fire. Just too many bullets coming his way. Freshy's going to have to be careful as well, and now Elevate, finding that frag, will be backing off. The unfortunate thing for them is they don't get to pick up the rifle.
Yeah, exactly. They're not able to retrieve it, so that's definitely going to make things a little worse for wear, but yeah, that was a bit of a unique peak from Slight. Like, I think he overswung that a lot. Like, I think he just got a little frag hungry, realized, like, oh, they're pistols, I'll be fine. But no, you can never underestimate the Glocks, man. They definitely can definitely pack a punch. But now just 48 seconds remaining. Elevate again, just not a lot of any investment on this really at all. It's just a P250, right? So, I mean, that's kind of the thing. They're not going to be able to utilize any utility to get into the site. Darty now just going to spot the head of Snav, and now you can just hightail out of this and Elevate. They can't really fake it. They have to commit to this play, and it's becoming a little bit of a blender, question mark, but I think a bomb down is going to be potentially on the docket here.
I don't know about that. Freshy's around the corner. Peep's going to need another frag here if he wants to plant that bomb. Peeping. Going around. Okay. He fakes it. He's trying to draw attention. It works. He gets the frag onto Freshy, and now he almost flicks around to find Micro. He's going to hide behind the corner. Now he decides to stick it, and it'll work. It does yield a bomb plant, maybe even a round victory. No, finally gets cut down by the MP9 of Micro, who should probably go and grab an M4, but I think it's close by, so it should be fine even after he gets the defusal. Just doesn't want to make any mistakes here, and indeed it is right around the corner. Both of them were. So M4 recovered. That's good news, and that means that their buy-up will be a little bit better going to this round, but that was excellent work from Elevate with the Glocks, but it was mostly the P250 of Peeping that was unloading on Boss.
Yeah, it was the P250. It was the investment, we quickly mentioned about, and that was something that almost got them around. So honestly, the bomb plant's huge. It just adds a little bit more comfort in terms of the finances here. So this is a good round to go into round number 3, but that's what we talked about with Elevate, right? I mean, again, a very strong team. Like, if it would have been the full force of, Dia here, but that's the thing. Like, there is so much that's a big question mark now. A lot to see what they're going to be able to do with Frankie now. A very different setup for them. AK's across, so obviously no money yet for the op. Slight, though, does have the big green ready to go, locked and loaded. Does spot this, and is an easy lineup. Takes down Dare, and honestly, that was a bit of an awkward peak from Dare. I'm a little bit surprised with that one.
Yeah, Dare Getting a little over-ambitious there with that peak, that's no question. 5v4 in favor of Boss. They did have to settle for an MP9 and a FAMAS, but that's not as much of a big deal now that they've gotten that first frag. Flashbang goes in. Molotov a little too far for Elevate. I think they wanted that to land on boost spot. But, or boost up, I should say. 52 seconds on the clock. Peeping and Frankie, along with Shane, I believe it is, grouped up together here towards the stairs. The late arrival is Snav, and here they go into B.
Yeah, the execute's about to commence. Slight actually is going to play a bit more passive again, just buying some time. I like this, not just sacrificing his body. He's waving on Jenny. Oh, it's swing, and he actually not able to make the lightning strike on this one. Now instead it's Micro here, the IGL. He's able to find himself a little retaliation. Now Frankie coming in as the new addition, trying to get aggressive, and look at that shot! Flick of the wrist with remaining bullets in the chamber, bringing it to the 2v2. The plant's gonna come through. The smoke gonna block off Molly. Now Cryptic, the heavy fragger needing to do something big, but it's a FAMAS of Darty. Oh boy, John.
These have been some spicy rounds. Darty, not to mention surviving with 2 HP. Just barely winning those fights with the FAMAS. And well, Boss do have a 3-0 lead, but it was extremely hard fought up to this point, and they can't be feeling too confident with the way these rounds have played out. But good on them, at least to get that third. Elevate will have another buy up in the tank. It's going to be 4 AKs, I believe it is. And the Galil, although Frankie may want to go for the Galil to get more utility, nope, he says, that's fine. I'm going to stick with my 2 pieces, no problem. Look at the buy-up for Boss, though, right? Because on the CT side, when you keep losing those guns round after round, it's a lot harder to reinvest.
Yeah, it really is. And actually, 22 and A4 is actually purchased too, so that's I guess it's not really that much more anymore with that update a while ago. But
No, it's only 100 more.
I know, my brain keeps thinking it is, but I'm old. It takes me time, right? I mean, that's just, I gotta get used to change. But interesting setup for Frankie, or for Freshie, I should say. Sorry. I mean, interesting that he's in this kind of a position with an MP9. I'm a little surprised with that. Like, I don't think that would be my first choice, but I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Shadow gonna get exposed, so Snap remove. A4, maybe, and now, there we go, Freshie, a big swing. It's a labored spray, my god, but at least he's doing some damage at least.
Yeah, that was close. Dare almost gets dropped, but a very labored spray, like you were saying, from Freshie. At least the damage is done, and now they're readjusting themselves towards the B stairs. Boost up gonna happen here. Frankie should be able to see someone, maybe? No, they've backed off now. Boss don't have anyone within the vicinity of that boost. Micro right behind it. Oh, do they expect this? They're gonna clear danger. They don't! There's a freebie for Micro. Now he spams and finds a second. Luck favoring him. As Shane, the last one standing, will at least get one, but that'll be all he gets. Freshie, the last one, upgrades to an AK, and that's a round victory that Boss needed to stabilize things in terms of their economy, at least a little bit.
Well, and that's just it too, right? I mean, the double kill with the MP9, like that's the benefit of it, right? I mean, it's such a good gun, and honestly, it just adds that extra coin in the pocket here on the CT side, so you gotta love it. Micro just played that beautifully. So he maneuvered the smoke, he's able to take them out one by one. Good start for him. He's gonna keep it in his hands. I don't blame him. This is, honestly, it's a good gun to have, especially for these close fights. But peeping now, throwing a little bit of utility, just gonna be trying to stunt this a bit more. Slight does make the good connection. That's what we talked about the off. This is where he needs to light up, and there we go. He finally gets himself some connections.
Yeah, I feel like Slight is a really dynamic opera that can be all over the map. Maybe Opponent Alone a little less so. He's more of that stay-at-home opera that holds the angles and waits for people to come to him. But Slight can take those fights aggressively, and that's why sometimes he was a little more inconsistent, because it's a harder style, you know, to go and try to adapt and move and shift around the map constantly on the move. So we'll see. It's working well for him, and I think he's kind of gotten close to almost perfecting it, which is great news for him, at least at the challenger level. And we've got 107 left on the clock. Elevate, only 3 players left. It was just a pistol buy-up, of course, for Elevate, but still, you can easily get overloaded with the op when those pistols are coming your way.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, the fact was, too, that it looked like they were actually trying to be aggressive, and yeah, they're just being Slight now. They just really want him to get a couple more stats on his plate right now, and Peeping does get that one little bit of connection, but again, this should be done and dusted unless we see something just absolutely insane here with the tech. Okay, that's kind of what I was talking about. Up close with the tech can be really, really scary, but man, oh man, boss. I mean, they're winning these rounds, John, but like you said earlier, like it is the cost of coming down to like these 2 players alive, maybe 1 person. It is a grind.
I think the only thing that's good for them is the previous round they had 3 alive. So that kind of stabilized things, but 2 alive, it's still not quite enough when you're winning these CT rounds. That said, they have 5 rounds already, and, you know, in MR12, the halves end quite quickly. So if you can pile on those rounds early, you're good to go. On the other side, Elevate, they need to find some kind of answer here. So far, not much fragging available to them. And this is where Dia used to come in and really be able to kind of power them back into it with his op, and even the rifle. But I mean, for him to be missing early in the season, I don't know what went wrong. I really don't. I'd love to hear the whole story, but I don't think we're going to get it for quite some time. Cryptic waiting here. Oh, snap. What a peek on a Darty, who has had a pretty hot start to this match. She's gone.
Yeah, that's a nice pickup. And even Dare now too, just taking out Cryptic. I mean, Cryptic hasn't really been able to find the stats that he's been looking for, but there's a big flank that's coming through, and if I'm not mistaken, I think that's Micro, actually, and he might be able to find this timing. Slight locked and loaded here with the op, waiting things out. Elevate taking a bit more time here for the execute, burning just a ton of utility, and now Slight, look at this, down to 28 HP, can't get the shot off done nicely. Micro does find himself this 1 kill, but now he's been exposed, and he's just going to have to retreat on this, and now finally Elevate, they're back on the board.
Yeah, that's just some really nice entries. One from Snav and then the second from Dare. I think that was the order. But either way, it was really well done from them. And afterwards, it looked like it got a little bit scary for Elevate when they were engaging, coming around that corner. But the double swing ensured them that the frag would come through, and they only lost peeping in the process. So, Micro indeed on a save. Boss surrender their first round to Elevate. Still, I mean, they've got 5 rounds already. 1 more, and they'll at least guarantee a tie at the most for Elevate. But that's a good sign for Elevate to finally win, I would say, the most convincing round so far, aside from the pistol round that Boss got.
Yeah, exactly. No, and this was a very big statement. And finally, we get to see a little bit of the, like Snav and, and Dare. They're able to kind of, activate themselves a little bit here and getting these entries, which is really, really important because, again, when you talk about getting the entries, I mean, that's, Dare is that guy that really does get a lot of big opening duels. So I like that we see it eventually. And it was kind of like that 1-2 hit combination. Now, Boss, they're actually going to take a timeout, which I don't really mind this too, because again, the money situation is not great. Slight sitting at 4,200. Everybody else is around that 26, 28, even 2,000 for Darty. So, I mean, this is a tough call to make on this kind of a situation.
I think it's a lot of it is to settle themselves down too, because I think they've gotten a little too hasty finding that last frag in the previous rounds, which puts them in this position as opposed to being more patient and waiting for Elevate to come to them. And maybe that would have led to some greater man advantages heading out of rounds and going to the next ones and more money saved over. Anyway, now they've talked everything over. They said, nope, we're not forcing. We're just going to keep the rifle up. It's going to be a Tech 9, dualies, P250, and a 5.7. So everyone on a different pistol. And Micro's on that rifle. Slight going to get boosted up here. Or they're going for a 3-man boost up. Okay. You do not see this type of commitment very often on Vertigo, but it gives you so much visibility.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, again, I feel like in these, like, light pistol rounds or like a light purchase like this, I feel like you got to make a bold move, and I do like it because honestly, there's a good chance maybe to get that 1 kill, pull back. Maybe if you're lucky, and if Elevate overextend, they might be able to find that double. So, like you said, you get a ton of real estate, like bird's eye view of some good control on this. So, I'm going to be curious if Elevate will have any sort of inkling that this could be something, but we got to definitely keep our sights a little bit on Slight right now to see if he's going to be able to find this, and this might be it.
Yeah, you don't usually clear it. Oh, no. Dare's got it. I was going to say, sometimes you don't clear it that early. Freshy's down to 22 as well. They didn't do any damage on the boost. Now they have to back off. And that was everything immediately unfolding in favor of Elevate the minute that Dare looks up and clears that boost. Because it is a common boost, but not usually with 3 men, usually with a couple of players there. Anyway, 35 seconds left, and, well, the round is likely done. I don't know. Boss could commit to this and try to get some damage done. Looks like they will. Frankie finding Cryptic, and then Darty going down by the wayside as well. So I would say Micro's on a mission to save, and Freshy could potentially fight a little bit more and try to find an exit.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, though, right? I mean, he could just get taken out here. It's not really going to matter. I mean, he's just got a flash in his hand, too. So it's not like he's got a pocket full of, money, with utility or armor or anything like that. So it's not going to really make the biggest difference. But Dare looks like he's a little bit hungry. So he might just try to go for a hunt on this. Will he actually clear this? I mean, they've been good on this before. Is he going to overextend? Does not look like it, but Freshie actually gets taken out, and Micro, surprisingly, he actually commits to a fight. I don't know why.
That was weird. Micro did not have to come out at all. He could have literally just waited in the site and saved the M4 over, and now his money is not great. Like, yes, you can buy the A1S again, but you wouldn't have any util, so he has to settle for an MP9, and all of a sudden this buy-up doesn't look nearly as potent. Slight will be able to afford the AWP. That's good, but you have a FAMAS and an MP9 instead of what would have been 2 M4s and a FAMAS, 3 M4s, I should say, and a FAMAS. Interesting decision. We'll see how that has an impact on this round, or if it has an impact on this round.
I don't know if I love again, I feel like I'm always a FAMAS hater. I feel like you're not, but I feel like I am, so it's...
I lean towards the MP9, and I'm just thinking, I don't know if the FAMAS is necessarily something you want to go for with the MP9 in the mix, but to the FAMAS's credit, it is much better at range, right? If you want to hit some quick headshots, I feel like it's still the right choice versus the MP9, which can be effective at mid-range, even long-range sometimes, but you have to be a lot more precise with your spray control.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, we'll see. We'll see if Darty's got something in store for us with it. And now Elevate...
Before, remember?
Yeah, well, I mean, we've seen it before, yes, and maybe, like I said, I'm happy to get proven wrong here, John. That's okay. Man, time is depleted here. 50 seconds. Elevate taking a long stroll here to get some control, but now they're going to go for the boost. Snav is going to be equipped with the op. Ready to go. He's teed up. Can he actually hit this shot? He misses the first attempt. Now they know where he is. But they don't have a ton of utility. They have some that can flush him out if they want to. Just look at Slight, though. This is the aggression. Oh, Slight, though, but he misses it. And now that's just ripped open some spots. But luckily, the M4 may be able to find something. No, instead, it's going to be an AK just to close this package. Done. Micro, once again, he just needs to save. He needs to get the heck out of here. And, yeah, not a chance you're going to get this retake.
And that's some of the inconsistency that happens sometimes for Slight, right? And I was talking about that earlier. It's less so than it was before, but, you've got to be taking those shots, and that's an unfortunate miss. Elevate going to get a third in a row now, and Boss are really reeling, right? In the early goings, they were winning the rounds. They were making them close. Elevate was starting to strike back, even when they didn't have necessarily superior firepower. But now, since Elevate got those AKs and the AWP, it hasn't really looked that close for quite a few rounds. Looking at who's holding the op, of course, we talked about it being either Dare or Snav, and it was Snav in the past before. I think they even had another dedicated operator who ran the op, and he's going to go back to doing that.
Oh, I thought I froze there for a sec. I thought it was gone. I was like, goodbye, John. It's all you, buddy. But I don't know. My whole thing I thought my computer blew up there for a sec. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm back. It's fine. Crisis averted. But look, the crisis here for Boss fans is the fact that Elevate now, again, I think you and I were in this situation yesterday with different teams, but there's a lead that happens and all of a sudden it cools off, and Elevate now slowly and surely are getting kind of right back into this game, right? I mean, in this round alone, unless we see something where we did have a round yesterday where pistols were making things a little bit, close and everything, maybe, but that's a decent start here for Micro, and now finally getting himself a connection needed, taking down Dare, and that's a decent start. And look at them now. They're still trying to regress him. He gets removed from this so quickly, and now I think Elevate realized that the M4 is going to be off the table, and they realize they just got pistols.
Oh my goodness, and there are some upgrades, or at least another upgrade available. And Cryptic catches peeping, staying around for too long. Now it's a 3v2, and guns are available for everyone. 2 AKs and an M4 up against Snav and Frankie. This could suddenly shift in Boss's favor, and this was pretty much a full-on eco. Slight is going to get cleaned up by Frankie, who finds the follow-up, and the final one. The lack of armor for 2 players is what cost them, and Frankie again proves to be an important piece. It's interesting, right? Because we were questioning if, missing Dia and having Frankie would make a big difference. difference because they lost their main opper. But Frankie is a solid rifler. He always has been. Every time he's joined up on a roster, and he's actually proven to be the difference maker right now.
Yeah, he's sitting at himself at 11-6, and honestly, again, like, yeah, I'm a little bit surprised from Boss in that situation too, just because I thought they would have been able to react to that a little bit better. But let's not take that away from Frankie. Those are just some solid shots being done, and you love to see it. Now Elevate bringing this thing back to a 1-round differential, almost to the tie game, and now this is where Boss, again, 5 rifles across the board with just the AA4. So now we have to see something different. They typically have had an op mainly, right? So this is a bit of a switch up, and they are still playing the 3-man setup towards the site, just kind of waiting things out over at A. But do they want to be a little adventurous? I don't know if it's maybe worth it, just given where we're at right now, John. Okay. Well, it's adventurous over an Elevate.
Alrighty, nice double nade thrown down there. Cryptic manages to get a trade and Slight through the smoke, connects onto Frankie. He's looking for a follow-up. Oh, saw the head, but it wasn't quick enough on the trigger. Dare finds the headshot. 3v2. Freshie trying to regain the space. It could be a surprise attack, and it is, but he can't finish his food. Peeping survives with 10 HP, and now Micro in a 1v3 clutch situation. I think he's going to go for it.
I kind of hope he does, because again, like, Peeping's down to 10. Shane has already lost like almost half his HP. So this isn't unfavorable. Not great, because again, they have a lot of utility. So Micro can't really like sit on the sniper spot, but now he's going to come through the side scaffolding here. So this is interesting, because if he can get the timing right, he might be able to find these guys a little off guard. Okay, no, they got an inkling. I was thinking maybe if they don't clear this. That's a decent start. So now he's been able to find the one. The double mollies, though, front and back, are going to block him. And you can see, I think that's Dare just on the ramp here. And just missing, and there's Dare once again. Peekaboo, and we're back to a tie game, John.
Yeah, 5 in a row for Boss to kick it off, and then 5 in a row right on back for Elevate. So we're pretty much back at square one here. The only difference is that Boss won't have a buy-up, and Elevate will. AKs for themselves across the board, decide to not even go for the AWP, which of course is an option because it's Vertigo, and T-side you don't necessarily need it. You can just charge up and go to either bomb site. The only place where I think it's kind of maybe impactful is at the bottom ramp, and you could argue the stairs as well, but the AKs are just as potent there. You don't necessarily need the sniper rifle. And on the other side, Boss will invest a little bit. It's going to be a couple of pistols, make that 3 pistols, and 2 MP9 Slight waiting at the sandbags.
Yeah, they've been doing such a good job just clearing up this ramp control, right? I mean, they've just been able to take it over and over. It's been pretty much not really getting a lot of resistance here from the CT side. So, and then even now you can just see they kind of pull back a little bit. They're just toying with them now, and they're just playing with their food. And Boss actually going to pull back on this a little bit. Slight, I'm not really sure what the plan was. I think maybe he was just going to go for the info, but yeah, he got the intel, and he's a dead man.
Micro does find one with the CZ onto Shane. Maybe an upgrade available to him. Has to win another fight. Probably won't with such low HP. And there you go. Peeping. Drop. Cryptic managed to get a response. And the fallout from Darty. Looking close again. 2v2. Can the 5-7 connect? It does. 1 left. And there it is. Boss on the half buy of all things is going to get a round back under their belts. They end the 5-round win streak for Elevate and do indeed ensure that the most Elevate can get here is 6. Wow.
I don't even get it, but that's, you know, that's NACS right there, baby. Like, just something out of the hat, and now they bring it up, and like you said, I mean, this could end with a tie maybe, but also, you know, Boss in a good position here where they do have the funds here for Slight to get the op back out. So you absolutely love to see it if you're a Boss fan. Slight once more. Oh, he actually, I thought he made that shot, but it looks like he kind of just went right through the legs or something, but he's not going to be able to find that connection. Takes a bit of damage. Cryptic now is also going to be pushing on the sidewalk. This is a bit of a difference, and yeah, he gets a little bit over-adventurous.
Yeah, I think one thing Boss could probably improve upon here on their defensive side is taking more scaffolding control early on and getting more aggressive down that ramp, because by the time they're seeing fights, the Elevate's already right in their faces, and they don't really have much information. So that's something that they might want to look back on and evaluate the tape and see if they can make some improvements here. But as it stands, 5v4 in favor of Elevate. Darty down to below half health at 36 HP. And Slight Well, he's at 75. Doesn't really matter, though. He's got the AWP. Sees the util coming in. Goes to the blue spot here. Charging through the smoke, and no chance at all. Darty cleans him out. Slight connects on two. Peeping gone. Snav and Frankie, the last two standing. Slight jumping up and down, trying to dodge the bullets of Frankie, who he does, and he hits him through the wall, in fact. Snav, the last one in a 1v2. Very winnable for him. Gets the first. Now it's up to him to try and clutch it out in a 1v1 versus the Opper Slight. And Slight gets tagged a little bit as he retreats away to the back of the A site. Slight picks up a rifle, decides the op is not the right choice here, perhaps knows that Snav is low in health, 20 seconds left on the clock, throws the Molotov, and then readjusts himself. But look at this, Snav is getting aggressive, and Slight's gone back all the way so that he wouldn't be spotted there. Now he's forcing Snav to try and plant this bomb, and Snav will be successful, but Slight could blindside him here. He has no idea where Slight could possibly be. He's using that catwalk, which players might not be used to being used here in the situation, and Snav is not. 4K for Slight. He jumps up to 12 frags and gives Boss a 7-5 lead as we head to the halftime break.
Counter-terrorists win.
Welcome back. Second half, Vertigo, Boss, Elevate. And that first half was quite wild. Boss won 5 in a row to kick things off. Looked a little bit shaky in the process. Then Elevate looking a lot more convincing, getting 5 in a row on their side. And Boss managed to scrape their way back into the lead with a couple at the end of that half. Here we go, though. Pistol round underway. And Boss are trying to make it an 8th here.
Yeah, let's not forget too that Boss were the ones that were able to get a very, very convincing pistol round. So we'll see if they're going to be able to have a 2-0 so far in the pistols. But Not looking like the same situation yet, but they actually do get themselves on sidewalk. And now does Dare realize it? Yes, he does. And this cowboy, he's going to be able to take them all down with beeping. So the two of them combined, they got 4 pistols in their hands, and they just get the job done, annihilate them, and leaving Slight by himself on a bit of a lone mission. And, you know, I think even Darty, I have no idea where he is. And now, what are they going to do with what they have left here, John?
I'm not too sure, honestly. It's quite a tough situation, to be honest, if you're boss, because you don't have the bomb on your backs anymore, and you're going to have to fight your way in with Slight down to 18 HP. What are they trying to do? Okay, well, that gave an audio cue away, so now they know on the Elevate side that boss is there. But they do want to try to get a boost going so they can see in towards garage, I believe. And that won't yield them much. Yeah, no one's really there. So, falling off. And now they move their way back towards this site, likely to their doom, because these dual leads are quite lethal at this range. No! Darty gets the headshot. I take it back. Now it's a little bit scary for Elevate. I mean, not much time left, and at least they'll be able to take care of business now. I said it was scary, but Frankie and Shane had their wits about them, and it will be a 6th round for Elevate. They cut the lead back down to only 1.
Yeah, that pistol round's super important, right? Because now, like you said, a 1-round differential, and for Elevate just to be able to, you know, find that round, getting themselves the money. Like we said, the double M4s now with the triple MP9. This is going to be important. I mean, they spent a lot of cash on this, but honestly, kind of worth it, because then this round alone, no investment except for an HCs from 2 different players here from Boss. So $600 spent entirely, where a lot of coin has been spent, you know, inside of Elevate. But, yeah, these nades are going to do some work, and Dare's just having himself a field day, and he just takes them all down, and it's a speed run, John, and we're right back at it.
Indeed. Tied up 7-7. Boss just ran into the meat grinder and said, okay, we'll try to do something, and they did nothing, unfortunately, for them. So now they're going to have the AKs across the board for themselves, and on the Elevate side, it's a bonus round, right? They already invested into those M4s, at least most of them did in that previous round. I think one of them was purchased up by Snav here, but then they got the 2 MP9s. So if they win this one on the Elevate side, then things start to perhaps lean in their favor, but it also depends on how cleanly they win it. Peeping. Around the danger panel, nade comes in, perfect nade pop. Peeping gets full visibility on Micro, had no idea that would come through, and a quick 5v4 again for Elevate.
Yeah, I love that you know, again, it's been around obviously since CS2, but I love when people can just pop open the smokes like that, and there's so much creativity on it, and that was like a pretty basic one, but you just love to see when it makes its, you know, full connection like that, right? I mean, it just looks so cool, and it just opens up so many different avenues. And Dare, once again, he's going to open up another one as he's able to find himself another one on this. Slight finally gets something done on this, but again, a 4-on-3. Okay, hang on, Slight. He's making a statement here, John. He's not done yet, man.
Oh, and neither is Freshy. Headshot onto Peeping. They've pulled this one back. They were a man down, but now they're a man up. Snav and Shane. Snav's burning alive, and that Molotov has to make a move, and he doesn't get anything. Shane does manage to get the trade, but he's down at 39 HP himself and can't recover a rifle. He's still stuck on that MP9, and now he fades away into the background. The Molotov will force him in the other direction, although Freshy's convinced he'll still come from where the Molotov was thrown. He is rotating himself into CT, and actually that smoke is perfect, because and another incendiary this time thrown in that direction. Shane is being bottled up here with no real chance to come in and have an impact, but he is going to give it a shot. The old college try, picks up the rifle, gets the headshot onto Slight, and now only has Freshy to deal with. Freshy, though, holds the angle, stays strong, and hits the headshot.
Man, that was looking pretty scary for Freshy too, because I mean, from the, you know, the POV, I was thinking on the other side for Elevate, I was like, man, he saw him. Like, I guess it was just a second too late, and yeah, great work from Freshy, just kind of holding an angle. You know, you and I were joking about it yesterday, where yeah, you can't always just hold angles anymore. Like, definitely got to be a little bit more, you know, jiggling around and everything. But boy, oh boy, okay. I mean, honestly, you gotta love it. Slight, again, he just comes up big when he needs to, and that's where, you know, you talked about his consistency, inconsistency, and right now it's becoming a consistent factor.
Yeah, leading the scoreboard for the squad. I mean, this is the type of impact that Boss needed, and we're kind of lacking. They're a pretty scrappy team. They really do rely on each other, and you don't often see one player carrying in terms of frags. But when everyone's contributing, it's much better. And Slight tends to be one who can always be at least finding some frags and having impact in a match. That's all you can really ask for. And Frankie is going to get that frag onto Cryptic. So a 5v4, despite just having the pistols on the Elevate side, that's not the start that Boss were hoping for. I think there's one adjustment that has to be made, and that's Cryptic, of course, going from the IGL role to more of a rifler. So that we'll see how that one pans out, because Cryptic was able to get pop-off performances, but more often than not, he wasn't necessarily contributing as much fragging-wise. Anyway, I've talked a lot about that. Let's see what happens here in the round.
Yeah, and I think that's even, I'm not sure actually if that's Shane. Yeah, I was going to say that Shane just on the other side of this wood panel. They should be able to clear this. Darty, you got to clear your angles. Oh, God, he did, but he looked away, and his crossover was in the worst placement. Now Boss running out of time, 26 seconds. So now they have to rely on just hitting these shots and getting all the firepower going full effect on this one. Oh, God. Oh, no. John, no.
Yeah, not like this, right? There's another eco round that comes through for Elevate, and it might work out. It definitely will work out. There it is, peeping, finds the 2K, and the round goes Elevate's way. They didn't invest much at all into that, just some upgraded pistols, but it's enough to upset the apple cart. A little bit of movement there with the 5-7 at the right time of the danger panel, and Elevate were able to push Boss back and never let them set foot on the bomb site. Timeout called from Boss, their second, after what was a round that they probably should have won, and I understand the timeout. They've got to talk things over.
Yeah, that's a really unfortunate round for, you know, Boss, just because, again, like, you know, I was saying, like, Darty was going to entry. He was the guy that needed to clear that angle, and honestly, I felt like that was kind of the one step to just the full demise here, because again, like, that allowed Elevate to swing even better, find another couple kills, and the time was so low. And I mean, I feel like I say this every time we're on the broadcast, but that is one of the things that's so scary when you run the clock that low, is that if you're starting to lose your players quickly like that, it's just a snowball effect, right? It just keeps getting bigger and bigger, and the problems just start to arise even more.
Boss, despite the fact that they have zero investment into the round, are going to bide their time and wait for some pushes to come through from Elevate. Micro just switching back and forth between burst fire and single shot, or semi-auto. Trying to attract some attention, hoping someone's going to push. It's not going to happen. Elevate's not biting at all. And Boss are now going to readjust themselves in towards the A ramp. The best case scenario for Boss in this round, I think, is a bomb plant. Outside of that, it would be a miracle if they won it.
Yeah, it really would be. I think for Boss, like you said, if Boss can find themselves the bomb plant, I mean, that'd be great. Again, when you have nothing invested for this, I mean, you're really just grasping at straws to see what you can do. And now they kind of realize that, like, all right, well, let's just make a lot of noise. Let's burn some utility. Let's affect that money a little bit from the CT side. And yeah, Boss are still just hanging. They're still really indecisive, John. They're just kind of going back and forth, and they're hoping for something. Oh, that's a head spotted.
Yeah, a little bit of spam there. Okay, connecting on 2, making it look easy. And 3K finally does get dropped, but he's right there to pick up the pieces. And only Micro left standing. Probably not for long. Keeping, comes out, spots the head. Micro gets a frag, but Snav is right there for the trade. That's all for the round. Elevate have taken their first lead, if I'm not mistaken, of the match.
Yes, they have. And, you know, honestly, I was going to say the comment about, you know, like, Elevate lost 2 players in that round. And I think for Boss, like, it just adds a little bit of money for them. But, I mean, there's still a lot of cash that was, you know, flowing here for the CT side. And even right now, like, even with them having this lead, they are going to use this first timeout for them. And I'm actually kind of for it, because they realize that this is going to be a gun round. They need to just make sure they have a good game plan for this, you know, defensive setup, what they want to do. So I think this is a really good moment for them just to kind of cool things off just a little bit. That last run was pretty easy, just considering they're only Glocks, and Shane made it look easy. But what do we see different? And honestly, again, Slight is the guy that I kind of want to put my perspective on just with this off.
Yeah, I think Slight's, like you said, going to be important with the AWP. I mentioned that he is a more dynamic opper, so that's something that they can rely on a little bit more on T side for him to maneuver around. We'll see how it pans out for them on their first full-on buy here in this second half of action. Shane going to toss a nade immediately, not going to connect with anything. No one is in the vicinity for Boss yet. And in fact, they are going to head towards the A ramp. 4 of them leaning in this direction. 1 player lurking, watching the flank. That's Freshy.
Ooh, and actually a little bit of mid control from these guys, and I like it. So just again, switching things up, just a minute detail, but again, a lot of information right now, because then they can kind of just release that, a little bit of, edge about, okay, they could be mid or somebody's lurking. So now they can put their attention somewhere else. But look at how slow Boss are approaching this as well. Like even the utility, again, it's getting depleted now. Just I think there's only 1 Molotov remaining here and a couple smokes still. I think 3. So they have enough for an execute into this site, but it's definitely not the same as before. Oh man, Dare, this nade. I thought he was going to throw a nade just on the corner. Oh, that molly's going to be good though. And that's even a noise cue as well, John.
Yeah, it's going to give a little bit of an audio cue for sure. Dare just waiting for this smoke to fade. Once it does, it could cause problems for Boss unless they make a move first. And with 4 players waiting here for Elevate, it's going to be very difficult to crack open this site. Cryptic gets 1, needs a follow-up. He's losing all of his friends around him, though. Only 2 players left for Boss. Snev dropped to 14 HP, but they need to find more frags and quickly. Slipping through, Freshy managed to get 1. So much health lost. Cryptic finds the trade, but he's down to a 1v2 clutch. Very winnable with Snav at 14. Snav peeks. Cryptic wins that. Shane doesn't know what direction Cryptic's going to come from, but he guesses right, and Cryptic is gone. Shane the headshot, a little bit of BM to boot, and Elevate are up to a 10-8 lead.
Yeah, a bit more of a meat grinding round, right? I mean, right down to the wire, but again, you just got to give it to Shane. He was able to be the saving grace for these guys and comes up with a big clutch. And I thought maybe that could have been a Cryptic pop-off moment like you kind of talked about earlier on, but not going to be in the deck of cards here for Boss. And now it's going to be a 2-round lead for Elevate, looking really good. It is going to be Tech 9s that will be on the docket here for Boss with some utility. So instead of just the full save, they still spend about 77, 8 grand. Not too bad. So they've actually put a lot of focus on this. They realize they have to get something moving, and I wouldn't mind them going for a commit altogether with these Tech 9s and trying to be a little bit more assertive on the decision and just go for the aggression.
Well, right now, Oscar needs something special to come through with all the Tech 9s purchased up here. It's a half buy, and so far, not good. Shane, headshot onto Darty, 5v4 in favor of Elevate. Frankie waiting here for more players to pop into his crosshair. They absolutely do, and Peeping's going to be on the other side doing damage along with Snap, and that will pretty much end the round. That's it, 11-8 for Elevate.
I was thinking too, like, again, like, Darty is the guy on this team where, on T sides, typically, like, he does have some really good stats where like, he is kind of the guy that goes for quite a few attempts and he's quite successful. So for him to have like a rating of 1.42 and him getting taken out that early, it's really, really unfortunate for Boss fans, just because if Darty can get something started like that and he can find an entry, it can turn rounds, all the way around, right? So now another timeout, the last one going to be activated here from Boss. And honestly, a lot of conversation needs to happen here. Darty with 5K, Slight for 54. The Slight really want to equip the op, and yes, sir, he does. And now it's 5 rifles across the board here for Elevate. And honestly, I'm kind of for it. It's been working out well for them, and just keep it going.
Yeah, I mean, Elevate have adjusted a lot better than I thought they would, with Frankie joining the roster just yesterday, or like a couple of days ago, I think it was, something like that. But yeah, the fact that they played with him previously may have helped, so that there wasn't as much of an adjustment period going back to him and having Snav on the op. Either way, I mean, they're staring down at a 3-round lead at this point, and they could cruise along to the finish line unless Boss have an answer. And they continue to go back to this slow A-ramp push. And oftentimes, I mean, when things aren't working out, you want to try and go a little bit faster on Vertigo, but instead they're still going to stick to their plan. of slowly and methodically clearing out all the angles. Molotov thrown for sandbags kind of gives away the play a little bit. And now you see the bodies coming towards this A site. 4 Elevate players. In fact, all 5 are leaning A now.
Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. This is a big fight. And now this is just going to be a 5-on-5, like you said, or essentially almost pretty much 4-on-5, but everybody's here for the most part. But now, boss, it's a question if they want to commit to this plan. All open on the smoke. Look at Dare. He's just able to get things started. Slight just winning behind sandbags. He will get a quick shot, though, but is it going to be enough? I mean, they've only lost 1 player here for Elevate, and look at the position they're in. Freshie has to be able to find something now. He's the Lone Ranger, and now he has 3 other players to go against. Unless they somehow peek him one by one, this could be the map point right on the play here for Elevate. Freshie trying his best to push through this, creeping through, investigating as much as possible, but the angle is just too much and it's overwhelming, and Elevate right on the cusp of getting this thing done.
I think one thing on Vertigo that you should try to utilize as much as possible on your T side is the ability to rotate back and forth from each bomb site, because it can happen very quickly. Like, you can be back to B within seconds if you kind of take the right pathing. Instead, they've continually just telegraphed all of their executes towards the A site, thrown all the smokes, and they haven't backed off. They just commit immediately, and Elevate has realized that, and you saw that shift that happened in that round. All 5 players left the B site and were prepared for a hit to come that direction. I mean, it feels like Boss is just rinsing and repeating the same strategy again here. Smoke pop going to come through. Does he have visibility on Cryptic? Not quite. Molotov, I should say Incendiary, is going to get thrown down. Cryptic has to move away from that. Finally does place a good chunk of damage from it. And Frank is going to toss a nade. That nade could be really good. And it is! Look at that! Micro, Darty, and Cryptic all getting connected on by the nade. Cryptic down to 10 HP. Now they're going to continue spamming, and Boss just are taking this right now, right? They continue to take it right to the chin.
Yeah, they just feel like a punching bag. Like, they're just getting hits. Like, I don't get it. Like, they're just kind of like, whatever, it's fine. Like, yeah, we'll take these hits. It's all good. But boy, oh boy. Like, they haven't even seen anybody, and they've already lost so much HP on this. So, not a good start for them. And again, right back to the same thing, John. Like, they're just going on this ramp, and they're just taking it slowly and surely. And I'm surprised they've just been so stubborn about this.
Yeah, I mean, Vertigo's a map where you want to be a little bit more aggressive, a little bit faster on your T side, and that slow, methodical play, if you're going to do it, it has to involve rotation. You have to be playing some of the mind games. Instead, look, I mean, all of Elevate are here again. 4 players waiting. So, I mean, the odds are already against you if you're Boss. They did lose a couple of players here. One on the Elevate side, but look, he tries to slip through snap, but he actually doesn't get anything done. That could be the difference maker there. A little bit of over-aggression from Elevate. Now you have 3 players still left standing on the Boss side, and only 1 for Elevate as Shane has been deleted. Peeping gets a 2K spray down though, and I don't think the bomb was planted. It wasn't. Oh no! Peeping the headshot afterwards on boost. The 1v3 clutch comes through. Even when the strategy works out for Boss and Elevate make a mistake, it is made up for by Peeping with the 3K. Elevate take map number 1.
Oh my goodness, man. Just when you think the round is done, you think that Boss got themselves another lifeline,